In my last video, I took you through some of my favorite tech from the Hitman Master Trilogy world record. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to talk about how these incredible runs developed. Today, I'll be taking you through some legendary Hitman history. This is a story of one of the greatest rivalries Hitman speedrunning has ever known. A battle of the greats that pushed the boundaries further than anyone thought possible. This is the history of Hitman 3's Season 1 world record. Before we get into the video, let's make sure we have the basics covered. This run requires you to complete 6 campaign missions from Hitman 2016, playable within Hitman 3 and referred to as Season 1. Suit only simply means you can't use a disguise to get around in areas where you would normally be trespassing. To achieve the Silent Assassin rating and keep these guns green, there are several things you're gonna have to avoid, such as killing non-targets or getting caught on camera without erasing the evidence. If you want to knock out an NPC, you're gonna have to do it in a way that looks accidental, as otherwise you'll lose Silent Assassin when their body is found. The same logic applies for killing targets. You can't just shoot them in the head and expect to keep green guns when their body is found, but blow them up with some propane or squish them under a chandelier and it's all a-okay. Any NPC that can compromise you is shown with a dot over their head. If their suspicion meter fills up, you're gonna lose Silent Assassin. Resetting a level is allowed, but segmented runs and saves are not, and with only 6 levels in Season 1, you're not gonna see a reset in any of the world records I show today. Finally, these runs are performed on the Pro difficulty, as this has long been the standard and more popular difficulty for nearly every major category. The largest differences you'll notice when moving from Master to Pro are the absence of certain guards and security cameras, and the fact that NPCs will no longer notice you sprinting right behind them, and are less attentive to sounds and you in general. One last thing before I leave you to the video. I've spent the last 3 months working on this project, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to the 20,000 of you that have now subscribed to my channel. I'd also like to thank the sponsor of this video, Aspecticor.ca, where you can find the limited edition Back to Paris World Tour collection right now. Check it out at Aspecticor.ca or at the link in the description below. Now that we've covered the basics, let me take you back to February 27th, 2021, just over a month after Hitman 3's release. It was on this day that Soldier35, now head mod of the Hitman 3 leaderboards, would post an incredible trilogy run, completing Seasons 1, 2, and 3 consecutively in a single session with no resets. In completing this incredible feat, they would also post the first Season 1 record we'll look at today. For the first level, we start off in Paris with 2 targets. Dahlia, who starts off giving a lecture in a secret auction on the top floor, and Victor, who begins by making an entrance down the main stairs. As with many other maps, the distance spanning the two is significant and obstructed. How runners negate the effects of this distance without relying on 47's slow-ass movement is the crux of Hitman speedrunning, and the puzzle created by this problem is what makes coming up with and executing these routes so satisfying. Soldier starts his run undercover in a suit at the auction, getting a quick kill on Dahlia by detonating an explosive duck, causing a chandelier to fall on her head. Soldier then makes his way downstairs, using a thrown emetic device to make this guy sick so he can grab the fireworks detonator and set it off immediately. Triggering this detonator will cause the targets to head outside, allowing Soldier to move Victor away from his entrance along a specific path. Now that Soldier knows where Victor will end up, he goes downstairs to grab a stashed proximity taser and a tank of propane. Once Victor gets close enough to set off the taser, it will activate and cause the propane to explode, taking out Victor in an accidental explosion. In Sapienza, Soldier starts off at the ICA safe house, making his way over to the roof near the observatory. By shooting this panel, he not only causes Silvio to stand underneath a large fixture later, but also panics a guard that was standing on the balcony, clearing his path to the roof. While he waits for Silvio to get into position, he grabs a nearby propane tank and tosses it down in Franny's office, setting up another accident kill with the proximity taser he leaves behind. Soldier then goes back downstairs to shoot the fixture right as Silvio stands underneath. taking him out with an accidental kill. To take out the virus, all Soldier has to do is toss an EMP and set it off near this computer. The most game-breaking tech of this run happens right here, as Soldier aims in and interacts with the cliff ledge, allowing him to forego sliding down the pipe and giving him a time of 2 minutes flat on Sapienza. In Marrakesh, the third level of the run, Soldier starts off in the parking garage below the Swedish consulate, which happens to be right below our first target, Klaus Strandberg. After shooting this glass to distract the attention of a nearby guard, Soldier shoots the floor in a very specific location such that only Klaus's guard hears the shots and panics outside, giving him the opportunity to take out Klaus with a simple headshot. The only reason this kill works is because the glass in front of Klaus doesn't actually interact with anything, so it doesn't break when you shoot it, as otherwise, NPCs around Klaus would likely notice him being shot. Perhaps the devs meant to do this, or maybe they forgot, but I don't blame them. There's an insane amount of detail in this map alone that makes me give them a free pass. With Reza next on the list, Soldier gains access to the school he's hiding out at by distracting this first guard, simply waiting before the second turns around to sprint by. Once he makes his way deeper into the school, he uses some distraction shots to move some guards out of his way, finally tranking this one so he won't see him later. He then eliminates Reza with a simple headshot, as that prisoner he's interrogating is blindfolded and won't see anything. With all the targets eliminated, Soldier simply needs to escape the school, grabbing the keys to the exit Humvee on the way out. After using a crowbar to knock out this last guard and open the door to freedom, Soldier nabs a 222 on Marrakesh. My chat's favorite level, for unfortunately obvious reasons, is next. In Bangkok, Soldier starts off in the suite, immediately heading outside and across the courtyard to the other building. After busting through the doors with an SMG, Soldier throws an explosive golf ball high up on this wall, killing Jordan with an explosive kill. Normally, just killing a target with an explosion will alert everyone nearby, and unless that explosion is accidental, they'll find the murder victim and you'll lose Silent Assassin. However, Soldier throws the ball in such a way that Jordan is killed by the explosive force, but the sound of the explosion doesn't make it to his studio. This means that he won't be found by any panicking NPCs as he lays dead in his recording booth. After making his way back to the other building and down the stairs, Soldier sprays this chandelier with an SMG, sending Ken Morgan to the Shadow Realm. With both kills out of the way, all Soldier has to do is sprint, or rather, jog briskly to the nearest exit. With 4 out of 6 levels complete, Soldier heads to the 5th, Colorado, where he has to take out 4 different targets. Soldier starts at the water tower, immediately tranquilizing these guards and taking a single shot on that car over there. Now it will only require 1 more shot to explode the vehicle, and you'll see how that helps us later. Then Soldier climbs down the ladder and up again in order to standardize 47's position. He needs to be sure 47 is in a perfect spot, so he can use the leaves on this tree to line up a ridiculous shot on this lawnmower. With the lawnmower now leaking fumes, Soldier heads down this ladder, waiting for the perfect moment to drop a chandelier on Penelope's head. With Sean Rose headed towards that car we shot earlier, Soldier can shoot it once and take him out with an accidental explosion. On Soldier's way towards the exit, Ezra Berg will light a cigarette beside the lawnmower, taking himself out in the resulting explosion. This explosion also causes the last target, Maya, to go into lockdown and start running out of the barn, getting quickly eliminated with a well-timed falling hay bale, giving Soldier a solid time of 1 minute and 49 seconds. For the final level, Hokkaido, Soldier only had 2 targets left, Eric Soders and Yuki Yamazaki. After starting in the restaurant, Soldier heads outside and throws an explosive at the window of the operating room, killing Soders with a puny amount of damage. With so little health and a body that can never be found, Soders is probably the easiest kill in the whole series. The method of killing Soders with an explosion outside his operating room is so good it still remains the meta to this day, but as you'll later see, even this simple kill isn't above innovation. To take out the last target of Season 1, Solder stashes a breaching charge, a very small and quiet explosive, in his briefcase and drops it just inside the hallway. Once Yuki sees it, her guards will stop, letting Solder trank them both easily. As soon as Yuki picks up the briefcase, Solder sets off the breaching charge, killing Yuki and letting him leave the mission in just 50 seconds. With this run being part of a greater trilogy and being posted less than 1 month after the game's release, it's almost an understatement to describe Solder's Season 1 as incredible. Just 5 days later, a runner by the name of Ozell would upload the first run dedicated solely to Season 1. Ozell started their run with the same kill in Paris for Dahlia, but instead of using the fireworks remote and killing Victor with propane, they simply went downstairs to the entrance. By using a thrown object to move Victor's guard out from under the chandelier, Oz blows up another ducky to drop it on Victor and sneak their way out through the mayhem. This allowed Oz to save 21 seconds on Paris alone, but they weren't done saving time just yet. In the run's third level, Marrakesh, Oz used the same technique to dispatch Klaus Strandberg. In order to save some time making their way into Reza's compound, they elect to just tranquilize this guard instead of waiting for him to turn around. Once they get close enough to Reza, they take him out with a headshot as he's going down the stairs, tranking his personal guard before he gets a chance to see the body. With so many slight improvements, such as using an explosion to open this last door, Oz saved 30 whole seconds on Solder's Marrakesh, leaving in just 1 minute and 46 seconds. After a solid performance of Solder's strat in Bangkok, Oz came up with a new start for Colorado, sneaking into the compound and taking out Sean with 2 shots to this car. After this, Oz heads into the basement, distracting some guards in order to poison Ezra Berg. Like I said before, if the body of a murder victim gets found, you're gonna lose Silent Assassin. But since we use poison to deal with Ezra and Penelope, it doesn't matter if their bodies are found. After making their way back outside, Oz drops the hay bale on Maya and exits in just 1 minute 46. To close out the run, Oz once again innovated, using a magnesium pouch thrown at the head of Yuki's guard to blind everyone nearby, allowing them to take out Yuki with a headshot and leave before anyone sees in just 40 seconds. With some improved strats executed flawlessly, Oz was able to take 1 minute and 14 seconds off the Season 1 record, with a total time of 8:34. This record would stand for some time, until one of Hitman's most prestigious runners smelled blood in the water. That runner's name was Moody, and on April 7th, 2021, Moo would upload a run that shocked the community. In Paris, Moo started off in the attic, using a thrown briefcase to distract Victor's guard out from under the chandelier. He then drops a remote explosive, which he will detonate in order to drop the chandelier on Victor later. To make his way past these guards ahead, he uses something called a panic shot. I go more into depth in this video, but to explain them briefly, when you shoot an NPC, a cone is created around where you took the shot from. Evacuate this area before you get spotted, and the guards will be too panicked to worry about you trespassing. Once Moo uses the panic shot to get past these guards, he heads out to the balcony, triggering the explosive and dropping the chandelier on Victor. He then throws a bust, using the broken pieces to elevate himself out of bounds. This is called a particle skip, and I'll explain more about them in the next level. After some panic shots, he simply makes his way towards the helicopter, shooting a chandelier above Dahlia to take her out and exit the mission in 1 minute flat. In Sapienza, Moo starts in the courtyard, tucking into this corner and performing 2 panic shots which will allow him to gain entry to Silvio's mansion. These shots panic 2 different groups of guards, letting him run past them all the way up to Francesca. Once he's there, he knocks out these guards and eliminates her with a headshot, using his trank and a shovel to take out the last 2 who might find the bodies. Here, we'll see Moo perform another particle skip, which is simply when you walk atop the broken particles of an object in order to elevate 47 out of bounds. There are many different types with a variety of applications, but they're most often used by speedrunners to get over ledges and forego taking the stairs. After he drops off this ledge, Moo grabs a tank of propane and heads out back, throwing the propane precisely to take out Silvio with an accidental explosion. In order to get to the final objective, Moo hits another particle skip to go over the edge of this cliff, walking along an invisible floor and maneuvering carefully through the stalactites in order to shoot the virus and exit in the seaplane, saving over 20 seconds on previous strategies. Even with so much time saved in the first 2 levels, Moo wasn't even close to finished yet. He also saved time in Marrakesh by using a panic shot to blind these guards and grab the keys for the exit right away. He then performed a faster version of the kill on Klaus, so although he lost some time grabbing the keys, he's heading towards the second target, Reza, at roughly the same time as previous runners. After he infiltrates the school, Moo uses the sniper he brought to fire a single distraction shot, causing Reza's guard to abandon him as he walks down the stairs. Moo then has just enough time to go back out the way he came and exit using the keys that he grabbed at the start of the mission, saving another 20 seconds on previous Marrakesh routes. In Bangkok, Moo pulled out yet another ringer, starting off at the default entrance and taking 2 shots to panic a group of guards in this room. After making his way to the end of the dock and knocking out these potential witnesses, Moo waits for Jordan to turn around and takes 2 shots. This causes him to notice the bullet impact, panic, and hide in his room. But since Moo panicked these guards earlier, they won't join him and Jordan will be there all alone. Moo then shoots a specific wire to drop a chandelier on Ken Morgan, immediately flicking back over and eliminating Jordan before completing the mission in just 40 seconds. In Colorado, Moo uses a lot of the same accidents we've seen before, such as this SUV for Sean Rose, the lawnmower for Ezra Berg, the chandelier above Penelope, and the hay bale for Maya. This time, however, Moo starts at the standard entrance, allowing him to take the first shot on the SUV right away. He then looks at this plank and its position against the door in order to line up a cross-map shot on this lawnmower before immediately dropping the chandelier on Penelope. With the lawnmower explosion kill on Ezra set up, Moo simply has to wait. After briefly considering ending this guard's life, he decides he better carry on with the speedrun and perform something called a triple shot. The triple shot is similar to the panic shot in that the game creates a cone in the area which the shots were taken from. Any guard who notices 3 shots will forego any of their responsibilities and head to the place where those shots were fired. Once Ezra Berg blows up by the lawnmower, Maya's put into a panic, sprinting out of the barn and into the falling hay bale. Finally, Moo takes a shot to blow up the car he shot earlier, killing Sean Rose, his final target, in an accident. As the keener among you may have noticed, this is the same strat I use for my Master Trilogy runs. Yes, there have been improvements since then, but this run is remarkably easy to do, and consistent too. Also, I'm lazy. With so much time saved in the earlier levels, Moo just had to finish out the run with a variation of the magnesium pouch Hokkaido, closing out the record with a clean 40 seconds on the last level. With so many game-breaking strategies, Moo ran Season 1 in an astonishing 6 minutes and 40 seconds, a whole minute and 13 seconds faster than the previous world record. This run was on a different level, and it seemed like the record could stick around for a while, until a runner by the name of Gross Stock would show Moo that there was still more to be achieved. As game-breaking as Moo's run was, Stock once again pushed the envelope, starting off a full season run with a Paris that involves launching a bomb across the map. I go over this in more detail in my last video, but the short version is that you can use explosive force to launch items various distances. In order to drop a chandelier on Dahlia, a bomb must be positioned in a relatively precise manner, but trying to get this launch to the same place every time is in most cases extremely inconsistent, as the bomb's ending position after a long launch will vary drastically with very small changes in positioning. However, runners realized that items drop from the height of 47's hands, so by dropping the bombs in timing with the lowest point of his hands in the walking cycle, the bombs bounce less upon being dropped, thus making the setup less random. Before Stock drops the bombs though, they take a shot into the entrance hall that serves 2 purposes. First, it will cause Victor's guard to move out from under the chandelier, but it also causes Victor to begin his movement cycle. Normally, Victor would only start making his entrance once the player gets close enough to him, but players circumvent this when they make him tell his guard to go investigate the shot. After shooting twice to misdirect the attention of these guards, Stock lines up a crazy shot on the chandelier and blows up the bomb, taking out Dahlia and Victor in an impressively rapid succession, exiting right behind the back of this panicked guard. This strat is insanely difficult but quick, even by today's standards, and the time reflects that, giving Stock a 30-second lead on Moo in just the first level. In Marrakesh, Stock starts at the default entrance, taking out Reza almost immediately. Although surrounded by a crowd, there's only one real NPC nearby who can compromise them. Fake NPCs don't have an outline, and are used to fill up crowded portions of the game, but they can't detect you in any way. Although Reza's body would cause Stock to lose Silent Assassin were it to be found, Reza's guards are busy discussing how shocked they are to hear how many people still haven't subscribed to the channel after watching the last video, so they won't go in to find his body until after Stock leaves. Stock then hoofs it over to the market, where they take out Klaus with a sniper after firing a single distraction shot, letting them exit the mission before the guard investigating even has time to turn around and see Klaus's body. Once again, Stock made an insane improvement on the previous strategy, saving 45 seconds in Marrakesh alone. After this impressive start, Stock closed out the run with the same Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido as Moody, posting a new world record of 5 minutes and 31 seconds, a whole minute and 11 seconds faster than Moo. After 5 months of radio silence, on January 18th, 2022, Moo finally uploaded a run. Although Moody didn't run the bomb launch in Paris, and still did the 1-minute route from the attic, he came up with an entirely new strat for Sapienza. Starting off in the main square, Moo utilized panic shots to make his way into the compound and put Francesca into a lockdown at the same time. Once inside, Moo shoots these 2 shots to direct Francesca into a specific lockdown path, making sure to panic these NPCs and grab this brick to use later. Moo then uses a sniper to shoot a hitbox for an invisible golf ball, a weird glitch that stems from the fact that you can put an explosive golf ball in Silvio's bucket. If you manage to aim precisely enough and hit this invisible hitbox before Silvio reaches for a ball, you'll actually kill him with an explosive accident kill. With the first target down, Moo heads downstairs to set up the kill on Francesca, dropping a remote breaching charge right beside some propane. He then hits a particle skip using the brick instead of a muffin, hip-firing his pistol at the perfect time to alter his hitbox, making him glide down the cliff more quickly. After blowing up the propane to take out Francesca, Moo destroys the virus using a sniper, avoiding the RNG that pistols in this game will experience at that range. After pulling off a slightly faster execution of Stock's kills in Marrakesh, Moo used his regular Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido strats to finish out the run. Although Moo would manage to shave a minute off his last submission, the 5:41 run would still fall 10 seconds short of the record. Moo had come close, but then, just as it had before, the category fell silent, with no new runs being uploaded in the coming months, even as the new year rolled around. But then, rising from the ashes of a flame long thought to have been extinguished, Moody returned. On January 18th, 2022, Moo would upload a run that showed he was committed to dominating the category. He actually performed the same strategies as his previous run on all levels except Colorado. There, Moo would start at the West Bridge, immediately taking 2 shots to put Sean Rose into a lockdown. After breaking into the backyard, Moo takes out this cam and heads inside, poisoning Penelope and distracting this guard so he can grab a stashed magnesium pouch. Since he put Sean Rose into lockdown, he can head over to where him and his guards are hiding, tranquilizing them both and waiting until they're both fully knocked out before eliminating Sean Rose with a headshot. Moo then makes his way outside, using a distraction shot to make his way past this guard and head over to the top of these crates. Here, Moo will use a single distraction shot before sniping Maya in the head, hiding her body away until after Moo leaves. Immediately after, he starts running towards the exit, taking out the last target, Ezra Berg, with a shot that hides his body in the stairwell. To get out past these guards, Moo just throws the magnesium pouch and books it, making it to the exit in just 1:02, saving a solid 14 seconds on the standard 1:16 everyone used. With this simple time save, Moo managed to complete a 40-second Hokkaido and close out the resetless run, finishing with a time of 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Just 1 second fast enough to clutch the world record. But Moo wasn't done yet. Just 2 days later, Moo would upload another PB that saved time in both Paris and Sapienza. After using the briefcase chandelier method to take out Victor in the entrance, he grabs the fireworks detonator, immediately triggering it and drawing Dahlia outside to her balcony. After hitting a violin boost to get over the edge of this railing, Moo fires a single panic shot and heads towards the helicopter, looking back to blow up the propane tank right as Dahlia walks up, letting Moo save about 5 seconds on his previous strat. In Sapienza, Moo would show us the first use of Fast Sappy, commonly referred to as Fappy. After starting in the tower, Moo takes these first 3 shots to put Francesca into a specific lockdown, and this last shot to panic the guards at the gate. After heading downstairs and taking out all security cameras, Moo looks out the window to snipe Franny as she heads into her office, praying to whatever god he believes in that she doesn't get found. He then pulls off a sweet muffin boost to skip past these stairs, briskly jogging all the way over to the tried and true propane to cliff skip combo we all know and love, allowing Moo to finish the level in just 1 minute and 21 seconds. With the time save he picked up in Paris, Sapienza, and Bangkok, Moo inched closer to the 5-minute barrier with a clean 5:17. But then out of nowhere, just a week later, Stock returned. While Moody had managed to really optimize his strats, as well as innovating in certain levels, he still didn't run Paris with a bomb launch, meaning that all Stock had to do to take the record back was run a bomb launch Paris and then all the same strats as Moo. Of course, Stock decided to take it even further. After pulling off their insane 30-second Paris and picking up 24 seconds of time save on the first level, Stock came up with an entirely new strategy to take out Francesca. After breaking into Silvio's estate with some panic shots, Stock heads over here to grab a brick and to unpack their sniper rifle. By using a pistol to take out this camera and perform various panic shots, he moves NPCs away from this precisely thrown proximity duck. This duck will be in the path of Francesca as she walks by later, exploding and killing her, hopefully while she's alone. Stock then grabs the propane from the shed, tossing it, taking out the camera, and killing Silvio with a single shot to the tank in rapid succession, hitting a clean cliff skip just as Francesca gets taken out by the proximity duck. With Francesca having fallen to this foul play, Stock takes out their sniper and first shots the virus, leaving in just 1 minute and 2 seconds, shaving almost 20 seconds off Moody's already ridiculous Sapienza. Marrakesh would see even more innovation, as well as one of the goofiest particle skips I've ever seen pulled off in a multi-level run. After starting on the rooftop and shooting several shots to panic the marketplace below, Stock places the briefcase and unpacks the sniper beside this table. They then drop the violin, scoping down and shooting the debris while walking forward, flinging the particles into the air and giving 47 the height to make it onto the ledge. Stock then walks off the edge and makes their way over to these pots, shooting across the map into this room, which will cause Reza to move into view later. They then move to this vantage point where they fire a single distraction shot to move Klaus's guard away from him, taking out Klaus with a single shot and heading back to the pots where they take out Reza, with a fatal shot to the hat, making an exit in just 34 seconds, for a time save of 10 seconds on their old strat. After such a ridiculous pace in the early game, Stock just had to close out the run using the same Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido as Moody. Stock had finished Season 1 in just 4 minutes and 29 seconds, absolutely smashing the 5-minute barrier. With such a competitive pace set by Stock, Moo was gonna have to put it all on the line to even come close to this record. 2 months later, Moo was able to post a 4:31. Impressive, but still just 2 seconds shy of the world record. This run still did show incredible potential, as he was still able to get within seconds of the world record despite using a bomb launch over 15 seconds slower than Stock. Also, Mu Sapienza added another 8 seconds, although I do have to give credit for his efforts to save time with this insane snipe on Francesca right after the muffin skip. To even come close to the record here, Mu saved an impressive amount of time on several levels. The first of these notable innovations was in Marrakesh, where he shaved a couple seconds off by hitting a running violin skip on this table to get down to the courtyard. In Bangkok, Mu revolutionized the sniper shots from the pier by finding this little hidey hole in these suitcases. This allowed Mu to wait even longer into the cutscene, simply firing 2 shots once Jordan turned around, and then firing 2 more into this room to ensure he stays alone while he's in lockdown. After taking out Jordan and dropping the chandelier on Ken, he simply jogs to the exit for a cool 29 seconds. In Colorado, Mu would further optimize the West Bridge strategy. Instead of going inside to take anyone out, Mu heads into the backyard, tranquilizes this guard, and heads over here, stashing a breaching charge inside his briefcase for later. Mu starts off the carnage with a well-placed shot on this car to blow up Sean in one shot. He then tosses the briefcase down the stairs and heads to a vantage point on the barn. From here, Mu will take 2 shots, causing the guards who were working with Maya to notice a bullet impact. If done correctly, Maya will end up waiting near the front of the barn, where we can put her into lockdown later. To take out Penelope, Mu waits until she's facing him and fires a single shot to her head, hiding her body just out of sight of the nearby guards. With a single shot on the front wall, Maya enters a lockdown, allowing Mu to eliminate her with the hay bale and blow up the breaching charge in quick succession to kill Ezra, giving him a time of just 53 in Colorado. With these improvements, if Mu were to adopt some of the strats that Stock used and manage to string them all together consecutively without failing, he just might be able to beat the record. And wouldn't you know it, just 2 days later, that's exactly what he would do. With a flawless execution of his new strategy in Colorado and an incredibly clean Hokkaido, Mu once again secured the world record spot with an insane 4:12. With this ludicrous time, Mu had struck the final blow of this fabled rivalry, one that had pushed Season 1 far beyond what anyone had thought was possible. After almost 5 months of holding the record with a 4:12, on March 22nd, 2022, Moody would come back one last time to post one of the most insane runs the Hitman world had ever seen. Pretty much every single level required a perfect performance and some luck to boot. Moody started off with an incredibly clean 30-second bomb launch, similar to the one you saw Stock perform earlier, saving 6 seconds on his previous PB out of the gate. In Sapienza, Moody made use of an incredibly powerful new item that busted this and many other levels wide open. This is the molotov, introduced with the update that brought us Ambrose Island. A seemingly simple thrown explosive, the molotov has garnered a reputation as the most OP item in Hitman. This is because a kill with a certain proximity to the molotov will not be counted as an illegal explosion kill, but an accident kill that allows you to keep silent assassin even if the body is found. Not only does the fire from this thing go through walls, you can also shoot the molotov with a trank in order to kill everyone around you with a tragic fire, while you get away scot-free. Anyways, after taking some panic shots, one to get through the gate, and the other to panic this large group of guards you see doing a terrible job here, Moo uses the wallbang properties of this molotov to take out Francesca with an accidental kill. He then heads over to the bread and butter of Sappy, taking out Silvio and the virus in the same way we've seen many times before. After pulling off a clean 26-second Bangkok and 54 Colorado, Moo was already on pace to breach the 4-minute barrier. But of course, in classic Moody fashion, Moo was going to push the envelope even further. Remember how I told you that using an explosion to kill Soders was still the meta, even nowadays? Well, that technically is true. It's just that runners got tired of walking all the way over to throw the bomb against the window. You could try to launch it over, but most items get launched way too far to make any sense. Enter Napoleon Blown Apart, a small explosive device that plays the French anthem to draw the attention of nearby NPCs. While most small bombs will literally launch out of the map when you send them off with a breaching charge, Napoleon is rather dense, it seems. Instead of going sky high, the Napoleon launch will modestly spring about twice as far as you can normally throw. The perfect distance for a bomb launch in Hokkaido. With some precise placement, Moo is able to send Napoleon through the air over to the window of the surgery room, allowing him to take out Soders by triggering the bomb exactly 4 seconds later on his way out. To finish off this incredible run, Moo shoots this guard in the leg, causing all of the guards around Yuki to put her in lockdown and turn their back to her, allowing him to take her out and steal the gondola before they even have a chance to turn and see her body. With this, Moo capped off an already incredible run with a 33-second Hokkaido, saving 7 seconds on the last level and bringing his own record down to an awe-inspiring 352. Moo has been busting this game wide open since at least Hitman 2, so although it was ridiculous for someone to beat Season 1 in less than 4 minutes, it's much less surprising that Moo was the one to do it. To be honest, if I had finished writing this script in any reasonable period of time, that's where this tale would end. But in fact, the most recent chapter of this speedrun's history is still being written. To meet the author, let's look to a new runner. A runner by the name of Vesareth. With some impressive records in other categories, Vez isn't exactly a newcomer to the game. Still, they had never submitted a Pro Season 1 run before September 3rd, 2022, when they would submit their first challenge against Moody's 352 record. Vez was going up against one of the most optimized runs on the leaderboard, with an insane 31-second Paris and 58-second Sapienza. Vez was still only tied with the record. For the run's third level, Vesareth pulled out a new Marrakesh, with faster panic shots and optimized movement to a new location. From here, Vez can take the distraction shot on Reza and immediately look over to eliminate Klaus with a headshot, panic shotting one of the nearby NPCs to draw their attention away. With Klaus's body hidden, at least for now, all Vez has to do is snipe Reza and escape in 26 seconds. In Colorado, Vez used the same Westbridge strategy, killing Sean Rose with this car, but instead of killing Ezra Berg and Penelope with 2 different methods, Vez takes them out in a double kill with a precise Molotov throw, burning them both as he heads out to the exit. With a single shot to distract this guard, Vez looks over to Maya, shooting the front of the barn and eliminating her with a hay bin, escaping Colorado in just 50 seconds. With the time save in Marrakesh and Colorado, Vez was able to run a 39 Hokkaido and still secure a 351, snatching the world record by 1 second. Today, Vez is still the world record holder for Pro Season 1 SASO, but the run I just showed you isn't actually the current record. This is because at the end of the day, I feel most speedrunners are, at their core, competing against themselves. Yes, the presence of other runners helps to motivate you, or in my case they help me by coming up with all the strats I use, but really, most of us just want to beat the current version of ourselves. I learned pretty much all the cool stuff I know about this game from other runners, many of whom were my competition at the time. In this community at least, I get the sense that we all just want to see the game pushed to its limits, and I think that's pretty cool. It was with this attitude that Vez would return to the leaderboards just 6 days later, posting the incredible run I'm about to show you. This is the Hitman 3 Season 1 Pro SASO World Record. After a clean 27 Bangkok, Vesareth would innovate in Colorado one last time, starting off at the regular West Bridge start, but instead heading straight through the gate. Vesareth finds an angle on the barn, taking a single shot to put Maya into lockdown. After pulling out his trank and knocking out this guard, Vez takes out Sean Rose with a single shot to this car, immediately looking up and dropping the hay bale on Maya Pavardi. After using a molotov to take out the last two targets, Vez heads to the exit for a ridiculous 45 seconds. With 8 seconds of time save on his own world record, Vez could have just run a 39 Hokkaido. Of course, he decided to push this run to its absolute limits. After successfully executing a bomb launch to take out Eric Soders, Vez rounded the corner towards his last challenge. With a successful panic shot, Vez just hopes that the guards turn their back to Yuki, and that he can hit his first, or second, attempt at a headshot. With this, Vesareth managed to finish Season 1 in 3 minutes and 37 seconds, crushing his own PB and astonishing the community in the process. This has been the history of Hitman 3's Season 1 World Record Explained, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to check out any of the incredible runners I mentioned in this video, check out their links in the description below. Since I finished writing the script and doing the voiceover, the molotov has been patched, meaning that any of the runs that used it are now invalid. So that's nice. But still, I don't have any regrets about including them in this video, and I hope you see it that way too. Until I see you next time, I've been Aspecticor, and thank you for watching.